Right now, something is happening in the world that most people are ignoring. Tensions between major global powers are rising. Trade alliances are shifting. Military conflicts are expanding into new regions. Technology wars are accelerating between nations. And while the headlines focus on politics and diplomacy, the real impact will show up somewhere much closer to you: your wallet. Because when geopolitical tensions rise, markets react. Energy prices move. Supply chains tighten. Currencies fluctuate. Inflation pressure builds, and suddenly the cost of everyday life begins to change. History has shown this pattern again and again. Global instability rarely stays on the battlefield. It travels through financial systems, it moves through energy markets, it shows up in the price of groceries, the cost of fuel, and the volatility of your investments. But here's the problem. Most people only react after the financial shock happens. They wait for the headlines. They panic when markets drop. They scramble when prices rise. And by the time they realize what's happening, the financial damage has already begun. But the people who protect their wealth during uncertain times do something very different. They prepare before the storm. They build financial systems designed to survive volatility. They structure their money so that geopolitical shocks don't destroy their financial progress. In this video, I'm going to show you how to shock-proof your money for 2026. We'll break down the geopolitical trends already reshaping the global economy, why global conflicts and economic rivalry can directly impact your financial future, the hidden ways inflation, markets, and job security respond to geopolitical stress, and the most important strategy you can use to protect your money when global uncertainty rises. But stay with me until the end of this video, because the final strategy I'm going to share is the one that separates people who panic during global instability from those who actually protect and strengthen their wealth during it. Once you understand this framework, you'll never look at global events the same way again. Let's talk about how to shock-proof your finances before the next global storm hits. Why global conflicts eventually reach your wallet. Let's start with a reality that many people overlook. Geopolitical events are not just political stories, they are economic events. And because the global economy is deeply interconnected, instability in one region can quickly ripple across financial systems around the world. Many people assume that conflicts, trade disputes, or international rivalries only affect governments and large corporations. But history shows that these events eventually reach ordinary households. They show up in energy prices. They appear in supply chain disruptions. They influence inflation, interest rates, and employment markets. And over time, they begin affecting everyday financial decisions. To understand why, you need to recognize how the modern economy functions. Most countries depend heavily on global trade. Energy resources, technology components, food supply chains, and manufacturing networks are spread across multiple regions. This means that when tensions rise between nations, the economic flow between those nations often changes. Trade routes shift. Tariffs increase. Sanctions are imposed. Supply chains are interrupted. And when supply becomes uncertain, prices often rise. This is one of the key ways geopolitical instability influences inflation. When energy costs increase or shipping routes become restricted, businesses face higher operational expenses. Those costs are rarely absorbed entirely by companies. Instead, they are passed along to consumers. That's when people begin noticing the impact in everyday life. Groceries become more expensive. Transportation costs rise. Utility bills increase. And suddenly the financial pressure on households grows stronger. Markets also respond to uncertainty. Investors react quickly when geopolitical risks escalate. Stock markets may experience sudden volatility. Certain sectors may fall while others rise. Capital begins shifting toward industries that appear more resilient during periods of global instability. This is why financial awareness becomes extremely important. Understanding how global events influence economic systems allows you to position your finances more intelligently. Instead of reacting emotionally when headlines appear, you can approach these developments strategically. And that strategy begins with recognizing the specific geopolitical trends shaping the next phase of the global economy. Because several major global shifts are already unfolding, and each of them has the potential to influence markets, inflation, and employment opportunities in the years ahead. To prepare your finances properly, you first need to understand where those pressures are coming from. Now that we understand why global conflicts eventually affect our finances, the next step is identifying the major geopolitical pressures shaping the economic environment. Several global shifts are developing at the same time, and each of them has the potential to influence markets, inflation, and employment opportunities. Let's briefly look at three of the most important trends. 1. Trade rivalries between major economies. Trade tensions between major global powers are increasing. Countries are becoming more protective of their industries, placing tariffs on certain goods and restricting access to key resources. When trade relationships become strained, supply chains begin to shift. Manufacturers move production. Shipping routes change. Costs rise. For consumers, this often leads to higher prices for everyday goods. For investors, it can create winners and losers across different industries. 2. The global technology race. Another growing geopolitical pressure is the competition for technological leadership. Countries are investing heavily in areas like artificial intelligence, semiconductors, cybersecurity, and advanced manufacturing. Governments are protecting these industries because technology now plays a critical role in both economic growth and national security. As a result, investment flows and job opportunities are increasingly moving toward technology-driven sectors. 3. Regional conflicts and energy markets. Energy markets are extremely sensitive to geopolitical instability. Many of the world's major oil and gas supplies come from regions that occasionally experience conflict. When tensions rise in these areas, energy prices often react quickly. Higher energy costs affect transportation, manufacturing, and food production. Over time, these increases can contribute to inflation and higher living expenses. These three trends, trade competition, technology rivalry, and energy market instability, are shaping the global economic landscape. And when multiple pressures occur at the same time, financial uncertainty increases. That's why the most important question is no longer whether geopolitical events will affect the economy. The better question is this: is your financial system prepared to handle the impact when it does? And that's where the concept of shock-proofing your money begins. Now that we've looked at the geopolitical forces shaping the global economy, the next step is understanding how to protect your money when uncertainty rises. Because during periods of instability, the biggest financial damage rarely happens overnight. It usually happens gradually, through rising prices, through market volatility, through unexpected shifts in employment and industry demand. This is why the most important principle for protecting your finances during uncertain times is simple. Build financial resilience before the shock arrives. Future financial stability is rarely created by reacting quickly. It is created by preparing early, and the foundation of that preparation begins with liquidity. Liquidity means having access to cash or easily accessible funds that can support your essential expenses during unexpected disruptions. Most financial experts recommend maintaining an emergency reserve that can cover several months of necessary living costs. This cushion allows you to remain calm when financial pressure increases. Instead of making rushed decisions, you have time to think clearly and respond strategically. Another important principle is reducing fragile debt. High-interest debt becomes especially dangerous during uncertain economic conditions. If interest rates rise or income becomes unstable, heavy debt obligations can quickly create financial stress. Reducing unnecessary liabilities strengthens your financial foundation and gives you greater flexibility during volatile periods. The next component of financial resilience is diversification. When all of your money is concentrated in one asset, one industry, or one income source, your financial stability becomes vulnerable to sudden change. Diversifying investments across different sectors and asset types can help reduce exposure to any single risk. It's not about predicting exactly which sector will perform best. It's about ensuring that your financial system is balanced enough to withstand multiple scenarios. Finally, emotional discipline becomes critical. Periods of geopolitical tension often bring dramatic headlines and rapid market movements, but reacting emotionally to short-term events can damage long-term financial progress. The individuals who protect their wealth during uncertain periods are usually the ones who remain calm. They follow their long-term strategy. They avoid panic decisions. And they focus on maintaining financial stability rather than chasing quick reactions to news cycles. Because in times of uncertainty, stability itself becomes a powerful advantage. Once your financial foundation is resilient, you're no longer operating from fear. You're operating from preparation. And preparation is what allows some people to navigate global instability with confidence, while others struggle to adapt. But there is one more strategy that takes financial resilience even further. It involves structuring your money in a way that allows you not only to survive uncertainty, but to remain financially strong while the world around you is changing. How to position your money when the world becomes unstable. Once your financial foundation is strong, the next step is positioning your money so that it can withstand global uncertainty. Because when geopolitical tensions rise, the economic environment often becomes unpredictable. Markets move quickly. Inflation pressure can increase. Certain industries slow down while others expand. And during these periods, financial flexibility becomes extremely valuable. One important approach is avoiding excessive concentration. When all of your investments are focused in a single area, one stock, one sector, or even one geographic region, your financial future becomes vulnerable to sudden disruptions. Diversification helps reduce that risk. Spreading investments across different industries, asset types, and regions can help balance the impact of global events. If one sector struggles, another may remain stable or even benefit from changing conditions. Another principle is focusing on assets that have historically shown resilience during periods of uncertainty. For example, companies with strong balance sheets, consistent cash flow, and essential services often remain more stable during economic turbulence. Businesses connected to energy, infrastructure, or essential goods may also maintain demand, even when markets become volatile. The goal is not to predict every market movement. The goal is to position your finances so that your overall portfolio remains balanced across different scenarios. Income stability is also an important part of financial positioning. Global instability can reshape job markets as industries adapt to changing economic conditions. Developing adaptable skills and maintaining multiple sources of income can provide additional financial security. This could include strengthening professional skills, building side income streams, or expanding expertise in growing industries. When income sources are diversified, financial pressure from one sector becomes easier to manage. Finally, maintaining a long-term perspective becomes essential. Short-term headlines can create fear and encourage emotional reactions. But wealth-building strategies usually require patience. Investors who remain focused on long-term financial goals often navigate volatile periods more successfully than those who react to every news cycle. This doesn't mean ignoring global developments. It means understanding them without allowing them to control your decisions, because the individuals who remain financially stable during uncertain times are rarely the ones who predict every geopolitical event. They are the ones who build financial systems capable of adapting to change. And when those systems are in place, something important happens. Instead of feeling vulnerable to global instability, you begin to feel prepared for it. Which brings us to the final idea behind shock-proofing your money. Understanding that preparation is not about fear. It is about awareness, structure, and long-term financial discipline. Preparing your finances for an uncertain world. Let's bring everything together. The global economy is entering a period where geopolitical tensions, trade rivalries, and technological competition are becoming more visible. These developments will continue influencing markets, energy prices, supply chains, and employment patterns. And because the world is deeply interconnected, those global shifts eventually affect everyday financial life. They influence the price of fuel. They influence the cost of food. They influence investment markets and job stability. But the goal of this conversation was never to create fear. The goal was awareness. Because awareness allows preparation. And preparation creates resilience. When your financial system includes liquidity, controlled debt, diversified investments, and stable income streams, you are far better positioned to handle uncertainty. Instead of reacting emotionally when headlines appear, you can approach global events with calm and clarity. That is what it means to shock-proof your money. It is not about predicting every global event. It is about building a financial structure that can withstand change. History shows that periods of instability eventually pass. Markets recover, economies adapt, opportunities emerge, and the individuals who benefit most from those opportunities are often the ones who prepared before the disruption occurred. So the real question is not whether geopolitical shifts will happen. The real question is whether your financial foundation is strong enough to handle them when they do. If this video helped you think more clearly about protecting your finances during uncertain times, share your thoughts in the comments and let me know what step you are taking to strengthen your financial resilience. And if you want more insights on financial education, wealth-building strategies, and navigating economic uncertainty, subscribe to Financial Awaken with Aaron and hit the notification button so you don't miss the next video. Because every week we break down practical ideas that help you understand how money really moves in a changing world. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.